In your opinion, what makes a live performance from an artist absolutely phenomenal? Is it the expression of charisma and showmanship, the mystique created between the blend of the music and the special effects, or even the interesting ways the artist engages with the crowd? Regardless of your sweet spot, you're generally left with some kind of an afterglow, a feeling from within which can last days or maybe even weeks. But also, you're left with a vivid memory which can last you a fucking lifetime. So why is this even relevant? I'll tell you why. For a long period of time, today's guest for the Music That Made Me was the go-to opening act for numerous international artists which came down to SA. In the early days, it was their raw and energizing sets which moved audiences. These days, there's a bit of a difference. There seems to be an emphasis on not just energizing the crowd. Mike's sets literally capture the essence of performance art, as the choreography literally feels like a roller coaster ride. And who's Mike? Mike is PHFAT.
I'm just cooling in my sights. The world going fucking crazy. I ain't going fucking crazy. 'Cause I ain't playing stupid games. I'm just cooling in my sights.
The story of PHFAT is one that's quite remarkable in the SA music scene. In their time as a unit, they crafted heavily textured electronic beats influenced by the likes of Cybot, Felix Labund, and Marcus Wormstorm. And over that, you'd find the most riveting and raw of rap lyrics. In the beginning, there was 3, and then there was 2, and now we're left with that douche Mike. PHFAT was pretty much known for their dark party music, although what Mike has done beautifully is transform the sound of PHFAT into something that can be defined as flowery and affectionate, especially with his growing appetite towards pop music. In this video, Mike from PHFAT goes through the top 5 albums that impacted his artistry and of course, his life. If you are new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. I'm going to remind you again later on in the video, so please do not forget. Mwah. Let's get into it.
Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. One of those albums that I can put on from beginning to end and listen to the whole way. I used to like put it in my iPhone and then I'd put my headphones in, like my ones that I use on stage, which like block out all the outside sound. And I'd go running up the mountain, and I'd always go running and I'd forget that I was running. And I would run until the album finished, and I'd be like, fuck, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And then I'd be like, shit, the album's over, now I have to run all the way back. And I'd always be like stuck in the mountains after listening to it. There's just something really, really beautiful about it. It's super like challenging to listen to in a good way. It's got these like beautiful, obviously easy listening moments, but there's like the amount of work that it kind of requires keeps your attention in. It's not like, it doesn't turn into background music ever.
These walls are vulnerable. Exclamation, interior pink, color coordinated. I interrogated every nook and cranny. I mean, it's still amazing. Before they couldn't stand me. These walls wanna cry tears. These walls happier when I'm here.
And that's all I have to say about that album, because now I'm finished speaking about it. Another album that had like a big kind of influence on me was an album by, well, it was their only album called Lovage, and it was called Music to Make Love to Your Old Lady by. And it was this like collection of songs from, I think it was from like 2000 or 2001. It was this like series of love and sex songs, and it had like a theme. Every song had like some subconscious like connotation to the story. And it was like, there was like this weird element of storytelling like woven into it, and it was like a little bit bizarre and crazy, but it was cool. It was like one of the first times I had an album that was like themed through the album and like stuck together and had like a coherent sound. And yeah, so Lovage, Music to Make Love to Your Old Lady by, it had a lot of depth, and it was it was a beautiful album, and I feel like they could have done more albums, but I also know that sometimes projects have to finish.
Honesty.
I would probably put Scissors Control somewhere in my top 5. Supermodel is a song that I've sung to myself lots and lots of times while I'm making breakfast.
You believe if you see it in me, see it in me, see it in me. I don't see myself. Why I can't stay long just by myself. Wish I was comfortable just with myself, but I need you.
and I've played the whole album from beginning to end. And Drew Barrymore is also, she's just a very, 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 very talented writer, pop writer, and singer, and her voice is gorgeous. Yeah, Scissors Control. Lord's melodrama for definite. It's immaculate pop production, immaculate singing, immaculate songwriting. There's that song whose name I've forgotten, which is called Rider in the Dark.
I am my mother's child. I love you till my breathing stops. I love you till you call the cops on me.
Beautiful, beautiful, engaging, and completely unplayable on the radio, and it's amazing. And then she's got something like Homemade Dynamite, which is just like perfect pop writing. And I think it was a Jack Antonoff album, like at his best, with Lord going hard in the motherfucker, being Lord at her most Lordish. And I think it's an amazing album that's definitely stuck with me. And I've also listened to it from beginning to end way too many times. I might have cried a couple times listening to it. Don't tell anyone though. Frank Ocean's Blonde is also huge. The production, his singing, the way the songs stitch together. It's an album that makes you work. There's like a couple of like beautiful, easy listening moments, but like otherwise there's a lot to like work through to get to the beautiful moments, and I think that's quite like precious. Like Frank Ocean's Blonde is like, it's like eating like a 9-course meal, and there's like, you gotta like work your way through it, and like there's just much more to something like that, where there's like, you have to like break, like the dynamic on the album is so like vast, and you have to like work through these like hardcore noisy sections to get to these like gorgeous, beautiful, completely like minimal, perfectly overlaid melodies. And he just like expresses emotion like beautifully, that guy. So yeah, Frank Ocean's Blonde, definitely a top fiver. I'm not sure we're in the top 5, but I'm sure we'll give it a number after this break.
We don't talk much or nothing, but when we talk about something, we have good discussion. I met his friends last week. Feels like they're on to something.
If you go into our social media, you'll find a video where Mike and I have a bit of a tussle between Frank Ocean versus Drake. So yeah, please do check out our socials, and as I said, I would remind you, please do subscribe. Let me know which other albums that Mike mentioned really touched you. Have you heard Lord's Melodrama? Have you heard Lovage? If you have heard any of these albums, let us know what you thought. And yeah, that's it for today's video. And of course, before we leave, I would love to send a huge thanks and a big ass hug to the people over at Wonderland. We are shooting at their space, and they have plenty of amazing events coming up this December, and of course throughout 2020. Guys, keep well and look after yourself for this festive season.